version of the stream. So you should be able to see the whole screen now. Let me just check right here if you can see the whole screen now. Live. So let's go to the live stream. All right, perfect. So now the whole screen's showing, and it's in 1080p, but I guess that's all I can do. So guys, thanks for sticking with the technical difficulties here. Let me just check if the mic's working as well. Yeah, our time is taken down, but it should be okay. We still have like a minute per question. If I just do this one real quick, which choice completes the text with ours are typically, yeah, adhere to, yeah, because it's not gonna be any of these. I can elaborate in a second, but yeah, you can hear me. In the stream. So my iPad Pro on 4, by the way, guys, and also important to note, your environment, it can be helpful if it's exactly how you'll take the SAT. So that means no distractions and whatnot. So, which choice completes a text with the most logical and precise word or phrase? Because the journey at the novel center is so, I would say, haphazard, because this is an antonym. Fruitless doesn't really make sense here, and inspirational neither that, because fictional. Which choice completes a text with the most logical or precise word or phrase? This evidence of protozoans sophisticatedly changing their minds demonstrates that single-cell organisms may not be limited to rudimentary. It's got to be rudimentary. Yeah, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense because why would they not want to be doing advantageous stuff? And evolving is, like, it wouldn't be limited to evolving, it would be evolving. So rudimentary is what I'm going with for now, but guys, remember you can just review it. It's probably helpful if you're following along, you know, don't watch me do this, like maybe come back. Also, I don't have the answer key, and later on, maybe I don't even check the answer key, I don't know. We'll see if I have time to check the answer keys for my answers. But let's continue. Which choice completes a text with the most logical and precise word or phrase? Some surmised, contrived, question, regretted. So, question, yeah, I would say surmise, because they say assumed, assume, surmise, kind of the same thing. I don't think regretted works, and I don't think contrived works. Because contrived, now obviously you can't do this during the test, but contrived means this. So, yeah, guys, let me turn on Do Not Disturb. What am I doing? So let's see here. As used in the text, what does the word answers nearly mean? Which of the following text? Okay, it was not effective and no longer answers. Sooner or later. Fulfills. It's not these, it's not this. So, Alright, if you guys read this, according to text, why would a helicopter... So I can literally just use my background knowledge for this, which is, you know, why reading is important, like in general. Like having a good general knowledge can be very helpful in the SAT. But let's use evidence from the passage. You want to see concrete evidence in the passage. So they say here, air of Mars would not provide enough resistance. So the stimulus based question, because the air of Mars, yeah, like that. If it was weaker, that would help the helicopter. If the blades of the helicopter were too large, no, that doesn't make sense. You would need bigger blades. Because helicopters built for Earth are too small, that I don't think so. So I'm gonna go with the atmospheric conditions. That seems like the best answer. Which choice best states the main idea of the text? Even though, okay, I don't know how to pronounce this, but church have been keepers of information about family histories. Okay, strategic advisors. So new technologies have changed this. So they're about yeah, it's gonna be A. It's gonna be A right there. Which choice best states the main idea of the text? Buck has been less social since he began living with Thornton. Why don't we try reading this text? Maybe it'll help us. Following text is adapted. Sled dog living with John Thornton. So when Thornton's partners Hans and Pete arrived on the long-expected raft, Buck refused to notice them till he learned they were close to Thornton. After that, he tolerated them in a passive sort of way, accepting favors from them, as though he favored them by accepting. Okay, so you can see they try to trick you with this, like, really, like, boring text here. But we're just gonna wanna read it, and we're gonna wanna understand it the first time. We shouldn't have to reread it, but I have to reread it, because, like, I don't get it. Okay, so basically it's talking about this man's dog, and his dog, he mistrusts humans, yeah. And then, yeah, okay, yeah. So, but no, it can't be B because he lives with Thornton. It's not since he began living. So I don't think it's that either. So it's gotta be D, that's what I see. Which quotation from the Souls of Black Folk most effectively illustrates the claim? Okay, so this is a book. So felt an intuitive and sometimes unexpected sense of cultural recognition. Cultural recognition. So, okay. So when he hears the songs, it has to be about the songs. Okay, so quotation from there. Yeah, it's a really, really confusing one, guys. So if you were on a real test, you probably want to just mark this for review and then skip it and come back to it, because this is going to take forever. So you just click mark for review right here. But let me see if I can do this right here, because I don't think we have time. But, you know, it's better if you stick to it. Okay, okay, I think if I'm reading it loud, it's distracting me, so let me just read this to myself. So the claim here is that he feels intuitive and sense of culture and an unexpected sense of cultural recognition. So, therefore, an intuitive and unexpected sense of cultural recognition, how could they show that in a phrase right there? Well, oh, it's gotta be this one, yeah. Because he's saying he, like, feels it inside of him without even meaning to, so it seems like the best one right there. But let me just mark it for review. If I have time, I'll go back to it. Which choice most effectively uses data from the graph to complete the example? This is another stimulus-based question, and I have some more text here. Wow. Wow. So let's just see which one of these are backed up by the data. Most of farmers. Okay, so this is cereals non-root female farmers as a percentage of the total. So in South Ondo, so mostly would be more than 50%. Why is it in black and white, guys? It'd be way easier if this was in color. But I guess if they want to print it, they want it to be in black and white. But then again, the rest of the page is in color, so anyway. So cereals is first, root crops is second, and non-root is third. So cereals in South Ondo were not mostly women, but the vegetables were women. So that's not it. Most of the women mainly we don't know how many like women there are that are cultivating this. It's a percentage of the total. So I wouldn't be able to know any of this information. So let's see here. Non-root vegetables in North and South were North and South. Yeah, this one seems right. It's more than 50%. Move on to the next one. Which choice most logically completes the text? Which choice most logically completes the text? Overlook the many other factors. So those who primarily view Zelda as an inspiration I would say it's B, because it's basically like people are saying like, oh, you know, she helped F. Scott Fitzgerald write, but she also wrote herself, so, you know, that also makes her important. Which choice most logically completes the text? Fluctuations in atmospheric carbon dioxide. So, there's no evidence of significant spikes. I'm going with B right here. Wait, hold up. Herbivorous sauropod dinosaurs could grow more than 100 feet long and weigh up to 80 tons, and some researchers have attributed the evolution of sauropods to such massive sizes to increase plant production resulting from high levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide during the Mesozoic era. However, there is no evidence of significant spikes in carbon dioxide levels coinciding with relevant periods in sauropod evolution, such as when the first large sauropods appeared. Okay. There's no suggesting that maybe the carbon dioxide doesn't matter. That's what it's suggesting. I'm gonna go with this one. But let's mark it for review again. Known for her massive photorealistic paintings of African American figures floating or swimming in pools. Okay, so it's not an M dash. And for there to be comma, there has to be fanboys. That's a... So fanboys are... or I don't know what the Y stands for, so there's no was in here, so I don't think it's a comma either. What's the logical choice? I don't think it's a comma. I don't think it's a colon either. I think it's just roll, like that's her last name, so we just say her last name. Because if we put a comma here, that'll be saying that her name part was like unnecessary, kind of like if there's an M dash in both sides. So I'm gonna go with no punctuation there. Which choice completes the text so it conforms to the conventions of standard English? In 2010, archaeologist Noel Hidalgo Tan was visiting the 12th century temple of Angkor Wat in Cambodia when he noticed markings of red paint on the temple walls. Okay, so we're going to look at the answer choice, then we're going to look back at the passage. So let's look at them and then, let's see. When he noticed markings of red paint on the temple walls, with the, okay, so it's going to be a period in the width. Yeah, okay. Yep. So, like, if you sound it, well, you don't have to sound it out or talk during the test. I don't think you're allowed to, but, you know, just, like, saying it to yourself can help you, you know, can help you realize, like, what the answer is just by sounding it out. So, it's good to know. So, which choice completes the text? Let's see this one. Chang Dang and her colleagues at the University of Washington recently ran simulation to determine the extent to which individual snow grains' physical properties. So it's gonna be, so it's the grains as physical properties, and since there's multiple grains, so yeah, so it's gonna be like this. Yeah, cause it's not a single grain. And it's not the properties, like the property doesn't own it, like possession wise. And then we definitely need an apostrophe, so it can't be D either, so I'm gonna go with B. So Mission 66 initiative, which was approved by Congress in 56, represented major investment in the infrastructure of overburdened national parks. Okay, so a semicolon and a period are interchangeable, but if there's no period, then the semicolons are usually the answer. So I'm gonna say it's C right here. So this is definitely wrong. Yeah, this is also wrong. And this first one's also wrong. because we can't, yeah. So, yeah, it's a semicolon. So we can go to the next one. So, yeah, guys. So, as you can see, there's a lot of, like, shortcuts and, like, moves I'm making that I can't really explain. And that's kind of what happens, like, when you do some practice. So, we're going to be doing a lot of practice. But I need to improve my math section, so we'll probably do more math practice, but I digress. Progressive era in the United States witnessed the rise of numerous clubs, organizations, okay. Among the club leaders were, so it's gonna be were, yeah, it's not gonna be any of these, because there's multiple of them, so it's gonna be were. Oh wait, no, wait, it's just one person, never mind. It's gonna be was. Yeah, it's gonna be was, yeah, there we go. So, Eli Eisenberg, genetics expert at Tel Aviv in Israel, recently discovered that blank have a special genetic ability called RNA editing. Okay, cephalopods. Yeah, okay, so, oh, okay, here we go, M dashes. So it's gonna be unnecessary information here. Discover that cephalopods have a special, so we should be able to read the sentence properly even if we remove the part that's within the M dashes. Cephalopods have a specific, okay, good. I'm gonna go with D right here. Let's go to 20. A model created by biologist Luis Valente predicts that the rate of speciation, rate at which new species form on an isolated island located approximately 5,000 kilometers from the nearest mainland. What's the thing here? So it's gonna be 2B. So the model predicts that on an isolated island, the rate of speciation on that island, is it will be or to be? Yeah, so let's go eliminate these. So it's either will be or to be. So the model's predicting on an isolated island. I'm gonna go with to be for right now. Award-winning travel writer, okay, considers background research. Considers the background research he conducts to be your own award. In fact, it's gonna be in fact. Okay. Student wants to introduce the novel to an audience already familiar with the person. Yeah, so it's gonna be this one. Because we don't even know about them. Like that. Yeah, like that, okay. 23. The student wants to present the study and its findings. Which choice does this? So we don't need to know about the purpose of the study. Study and its findings. This one doesn't tell us its findings, so it's gonna be D. The student wants to introduce this person and their novel, The Lonely Londoners, to a new audience. Which choice most effectively uses relevant information from the notes to accomplish this goal? Let's see here. So they need to introduce both the author and the book. So we don't need to know about Moses ascending. Okay. It seems like A is the right answer. Let's move on to the next one. Student wants to emphasize the similarity between the two sea turtle species. Which choice most effectively uses relevant information from the notes to accomplish this goal? Okay. Similarity between the two sea turtles. So this is only talking about one. This is only talking about the fact they're species. So this is similarity. This is just telling us their names. So we're gonna eliminate that. So I would say that's the answer. Okay, student wants to summarize the study. Which choice most effectively uses relevant information from the notes to accomplish this goal? So we need to know the study stuff. We don't need to know the hypothesis. We don't need to know where they collected data. We don't need to know that. But they want to summarize the study. Fine, let's just go with D for now, because there's 30 seconds left. Introduce Paradise to an audience unfamiliar with the author. But they want to introduce the book. It's not going to be this. How much praise? It's got to be this one. That's what I'm thinking. So that's going to be the end of the first section. Oh, it does move us on automatically. Never mind. Okay. In studying the use of external stimuli to reduce the itching sensation caused by an allergic histamine reaction, Louise Ward and colleagues found that while harmless application of vibration or warming can provide a temporary distraction, such it's got to be innocuous. Yeah, it's not this or this. It's either novel or innocuous. Novel means new, and I'm pretty sure innocuous means so it's like not too hurting. Just look up the definition. Yeah, okay. So you obviously can't look up the definition of the real SAT, but I'm just, showing you guys what it means. So which choice completes the text with the most logical and precise word or phrase? Okay, so there's gonna be a shortage, basically. That's what they're saying. There's a shortage, and these three words are very, very unique. Some of them I haven't seen before. So, what you're gonna want to use is your, like knowledge of suffixes, prefixes, and roots to be able to like know what the answer is. So it's gonna be one of these three, and if I was in the real SAT, I would probably just be skipping this and coming back to it, or checking it. So profusion, paucity, or verisimilitude. Perfusion, paucity. I think it's either paucity or very similar to it, I'm pretty sure. Okay, it's paucity. Yeah. It was very similar to me. Okay. So, very similar to it. So, I guess tude means look. Perfusion. There's a lot of it, so it can't be either of these. So paucity means a little. Good to know. While the reign of a French monarch such as Hugh Capet or Henry I was historically consequential, wait, what does that mean? Its trajectory was shaped by questions of legitimacy and therefore cannot understood without a corollary understanding of the factors that allowed the monarch to okay. So what they're saying is he needs to like back up. He needs to like support his right to have the throne, even though he didn't do anything. I'm pretty sure it's buttress. Yeah. So none of these. Which choice completes a text with the most logical and precise word or phrase? Researcher Hastings Young led a 2020 study showing that individual acts of kindness can foster. It's gotta be foster. Yeah. Yes, there are some easy ones and there's some hard ones. You know, we're gonna be doing all the question bank questions, so look out for that. Function of the underlined text. So it's gonna be like someone ready to yield up their lifeblood. I think it's gonna be this one. Determines how human behavior. Oh. It elaborates on the aspect to see if the sap would appear. Okay. I'm gonna go with D. I don't know. It's a bit difficult. Which choice best states the main purpose of the text? Okay, let's see. Convey a contrast between Jane's outward calmness and internal restlessness to emphasize Jane's loyalty to the people she works with. So she's saying like she is like stopping these thoughts that she should quit governing. So not gonna be this. Maybe it's this. it says she's not showing her loyalty because she's thinking about leaving. Yeah, I'm gonna go with A for this one here. Musician Joni Mitchell, who's also a painter, uses images she creates for her album covers to emphasize ideas expressed in her music. For the cover of her album Turbulent Indigo, Mitchell painted a striking self-portrait that closely resembles Vincent van Gogh's self-portrait with bandolier. Okay. Overall structure. So it makes a claim. So I don't see this difference here. It describes this. Okay, so it's gonna be A here. Which choice best states the function of the underlying sentence in the overall structure of the text? Okay, let's see here. To summarize the team's analysis, to present a specific example that illustrates the study's findings. So let's see what this does. I'm gonna say it's this one, because the underlined sentence is talking about the data they use, which is part of the method. Based on the text, what would the author of text 2 most likely say about text 1's characterization of the discovery involving EGR? Let's see here. Text 1's characterization. So this author in text 2 says that it's unclear what they do. So, are they both writing about the same article or what? Okay, so the first author is saying that because they both have EGR, they might be able to regenerate. So, text 1 characterizes this as exciting progress, whereas text 2 says that it's like they observe that yeah. So they're saying this is a minimum. So it can't be less. It can't be less than the number they have. Edwin Carraway is 47, so that would be less. It's gotta be this. which finding, if true, would directly support Suarez, Perez Huerta, and Harrell's claim. So let's see, if true, which finding would most directly support the claim? So their claim is that endothermy would have allowed them to they claim they're endothermic. And it would allow them to be in cold waters. So let's see this one. So, because the poles are colder, so yeah. That's what it's gonna be. Which choice best describes the data from the graph that supports the researcher's conclusion? So which choice best describes this data? So the researcher's conclusion is that they want to connect more departments. So that means they want to talk to more departments. So department leaders, so there's going to be more people reporting to CEO. It's gonna be roles, because they wanted it to rise. They wanted more department leaders to talk to them. Which finding, if true, would most directly weaken astronomers' claim? Most stars are made of hydrogen and helium. So their claim is that stars and planets are made of the same things. So that means equal or smaller, so if they have more iron, that would mean that it's untrue, so we're gonna go with that. This finding, if true, would directly support the journalist's claim. So the journalist claims that when Zor wanted to put more African American artists out there to increase awareness for them, I guess. So to support the claim, but he also wanted to connect them. So not by focusing solely. So this is focusing solely, and this is focusing solely. And this is going to be B, going to B. Which choice most logically completes the text? Since researchers are unable to control I think D. I don't know though. Thus, some scholars have concluded that it's gonna be A. So, to humans, it does not appear that the golden orb weaver spider uses camouflage to capture its prey. Rather, so we can see, I'm going to go with this semicolon one. Because we should be able to interchange it with a period and it should still function as a sentence. We can't just end a sentence off with rather, so it's not going to be this. Not going to be this, and it's not going to be this. So, it's going to be D. Which choice completes the text? So it conforms, okay. Bonnie of NASA's JPL studies data. Okay, was studying data about the rings when she made this discovery. So it's gonna be was studying. It's not this or this. It's not this. Okay. On July 23rd, 1854, a clipper ship called Flying Cloud entered San Francisco Bay, having left New. There's gonna be a comment here. Under the guidance of Captain Josiah Perkins Cressy and his wife. Listen to that. Unless are these two independent clauses? No. Having left New York Harbor. No, that's not an independent clause. But the first part's an independent clause, and then dependent. So we can put a comma there, that should be good. Yeah. Yeah, so you gotta think independent, dependent clauses. Okay. Okay. Authors, a volume of English translations of French poems, enhance scholars' understanding. Is it are enhancing or enhance? It's are enhancing. In present-day Saudi Arabia, it was the second largest city of this kingdom, 4th century BC to 1st century CE. And the archaeologists recently traveled to there to study its ancient ancient tombs built. So it can't be that. Well, this is an independent clause. So I'm gonna go with that. Which choice completes the text so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English? In 1937, Chinese-American screen actor Anna May Wong, finally got a starring role in this Paramount Pictures film. That critic it's gonna be this one. Because if there's a comma on both sides, that would mean we could just get rid of the name and it would still work, but it doesn't work. So film critic Stina Chin claims expanded the range of possibilities. It's either C or D. It's one of the two. I can eliminate A and B. So now it's down to C or D. C or D? No, it's not D, it's C. Which choice completes the text so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English? We're all dedicated to growing diverse plant species, both native and non-native. Oh, that's gonna be commas. This doesn't work. That's not an independent clause. Doesn't work. D doesn't work. Fostering scientific research. Wait, hold up. Is semicolon and educating the public about plant country, is that not incorrect? Because I thought you can't have sentences starting with and. Oh, we're using commas within the listing, so we're using semicolons in a list. Yeah, there we go, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. See, when you use commas in list items, then use semicolons to separate the list items. Which choice completes a text with the most logical transition? Okay. Babylonian king Hammurabi achieved much during his 40-year reign. He conquered all of Mesopotamia and built. Okay, I'm kind of running out of time, so today, for instance, okay, today, however, yeah, it's today, however, yeah. So she places in her poetry collection, it's gonna be thus. It's gonna be thus right there. I would say 1 minute, 2 questions. Most logical transition. Custom fits the. $30 seconds. I'm gonna go with likewise. Student wants a supported generalization. Oh, I shouldn't have said this for the last. It's gonna be D. That's a generalization. They move. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Okay, that's our break, guys. So at this point, probably want to grab your snack and use it. There's about a 5-second delay on this Streamlabs stream. It's not bad. So guys, this next section is going to be the math section. And we'll get Desmos for the whole thing, so hopefully it should be pretty easy. Oh, that reminds me. I should probably get my graphing calculators downstairs. Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to go without it this time. But, so basically the College Board does not restrict you on, like, graphing calculator programs. So you can just have whatever you want on it. So I have a program that just like does like simple math but faster. Like for example, so I don't have to type out the whole like formula for like, distance or whatever. I just put in the points. So you guys can also use that technique. It's permitted by the College Board to have graphing calculator programs. Because basically, like, there's not really much you can do on them. Just, you know, basic mathematical operations, just faster. So, for you to have the program and know how it works and how to use it is basically as good as, you know. N plus Desmos can already do most of the stuff, so I guess that's the reason. But yeah, it's pretty cool that we just have graphing calculator programs and whatnot. "17 seconds left on our break. 10 seconds left on our break. 4 seconds left on our break. Alright guys, we can resume testing when we click this button. So, our testing timer has not started counting down yet, but I'm pretty sure on the real SAT would have started by now, so I'll just get straight back to it. Resume testing. So we can just read this stuff here. So, time to get this out. So, 27. Let's see this. Mean, okay. Mean of data set Y has to be greater, right? Because it has a 27 in there, so it's like the same data set but with the 27, so yeah. Y has got to be bigger. Right triangles are P correspond to S. Q is 18, so 90 plus 18 plus X has to equal 180. So that means that 72 degrees is what S is. Because all the internal angles of a triangle, they have to add up to 180. So, and because it's a right triangle, you know. So 72 it is. So what is all this? Okay, so on average, how much propellant did the rocket burn every second after launch? So it's gonna be 467,000 minus 362,000 over 0 minus 21. Wait, 21 minus 0. Wait, what? Oh, it's 105. Yeah, here we go. That's our answer. Every second after launch. What is the value of x plus y? So first off, we're gonna go y equals 4x, y equals 20, y equals negative 3x plus y equals negative 7. And then, wait, hold on. So there's two solutions here. Then we're gonna go with the positive one. Hold up. What did we do wrong here? Wait, let's just try typing it in like this. 4x equals 20. Negative 3x plus plus y equals -7. Alright, here we go. So it still matches up to the positive solution. 5 plus 8 is 13. So it's gonna be this, as long as we type it all in correctly. A certain apprentice has enrolled in 85 hours of training courses. The equation, this. How many more hours does each online training course? Okay. So 10x plus 15y equals 85. So x is the number of hours. No, x is the number of on-site training courses, and y is the number of online training courses. So 10 and 15 have to correspond to the number of hours. So it's going to be 5 more hours. Don't even need decimals for this one. Square x has a side length of 12. Perimeter of square y is 2x. This is perimeter of square x. What's the length in centimeters of one side of square y? So 12. If the perimeter is twice as much, then each side has to be also twice as much. Okay, wait. So 12 times 4 is 48. 12. So 48 times 2 equals 96. So if the side length is twice as much, okay. So side length has to double. So that means that it's going to be 24. So given function g models the number of gallons of gasoline that remains from a full gas tank in a car after driving m miles. According to the model, about how many gallons of gasoline are used to drive each mile? So, 0.05 gallons, because that's how much is reduced. That's how much is reduced after each mile. So it's, yeah, gonna be 0.05 gallons. If 4x minus 4 equals 112, what's the positive value of x minus 1? 4x minus 4 equals 112. X minus 1 equals. I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. But thank you for letting me know. So what does x equal? Let me figure that out. X equals. Come on, tell me. What does x equal? Okay. So tell me why Desmos won't show me. Okay, 29. 29 minus 1 is 28. So the answer is going to be 28 right there. The given equation relates the positive numbers b, x, and y. Which equation correctly expresses x in terms of y? So this is just some algebra on some paper that you gotta do. So you would move the y over to the other side and then you divide it all by 11. Seven by over 11. Yeah. I did that in my head. Wait, no. Let's try using a piece of paper. Actually, let's just try drawing it here. Close that out. Okay, so it's weird. Why does it look like that? Come on, let me screenshot. Okay, fine. Okay, so 1 over 7b equals 11x over y. Move the y over to the other side, we get 1. Okay. One over 7b times y equals 11x. It's gonna be 1. That's gonna be y over 7b equals 11x. Then we divide this by 11, divide this by 11. Y over 7b times 1 over 11 equals x. So it's going to be y over 77b equals x. And that's actually c. So we're going to go with c here. So you guys, you're going to want to work this out on paper sometimes. Now watch this. So what you're going to want to do is add a table. 10, 15, 20, 25, 82, 137, 192, 247. And then we're going to go down here. Y1 is tilde. M of x1 minus 28. It says m equals 11. And we can also do a linear regression for it. It'll show up over here. And if you do a lin reg, it also figures out that the equation, I guess. So, yeah. The given expression is 850. Bx to the third minus 11 will be a constant. What's the value of b? Okay. So to figure out the value of b, I guess we could try putting this in first. And that's equal to add a slider here. It's going to be equal to 1. If you do it equal to 1, it's exactly overlaid. So I'm going to go with the value of b is 1 here. So then we're gonna want to go here. Y is less than 14 and 4x plus y is less than 18. So we're gonna have to look in this region right here. X 50. Y equals 53. So it's the solution right here, because in both planes. Which of the following could be a value of x? So it's gotta be negative, can't be positive, because positive would be in only the blue and not in the gray region. And it can't be less than negative 8.75, so it's gonna be negative 9. Okay, negative 9. Bacteria growing in a liquid growth medium. There were 300,000 cells per milliliter during initial observation. Doubles every 3 hours. So it's times 2 to the 5. 9,600,000 right there. Okay. Graph gives the estimated number of catalogs Y in thousands a company sent to its customers at the end of each year, where X represents the number of years since the end of 1992, where 0 is less than or equal to X is less than or equal to 10. Which statement is the best interpretation of the y-intercept in this context? Okay. Y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. It's gonna be this one. Which expression is equal to, so it's gonna be to the power of 9 over 7, I'm pretty sure, so let's just check this. Root, I think I gotta go here, here. Wait, hold up. Okay. Okay, what's the problem now? Does that work, or what? I don't get it. What does this wavy thing mean? What is this, like a Chromebook destruction? Like, why can't I do anything with this now? It's either 9 over 7 or 7 over 9. Let's see what 7 over 9 gives us. Oh, it gives us an actual line. Okay. There's something in a reference sheet. Nothing there. So it's inner over outer. So that means it's 9 over 7. So 9 over 7 is the answer. So yeah. So that's what I'm going with for now is 9 over 7. Because like inside the root over the outside of the root. Population of city A increased by 7% from 2015 to 2016. If the 2016 population is K times the 2015 population, what's the value of K? 7%. It's 1.07%. 1.07. 7%. So 1 times plus that. So which one of these has no solution? So that's going to be which one of these doesn't have any intersection. That has an intersection. That's going to have an intersection. C is parallel, I'm pretty sure. C is parallel, so let's test C. So you don't want to really waste your time too much. So see, like this one's perpendicular, this one's perpendicular, and this one's perpendicular. So, you gotta, only one that's worth testing is C. So that's the answer. First term of a sequence is 9. Each term after the first is 4 times the preceding term. If W represents the nth term of the sequence, which equation gives W in terms of n? So W equals 4 times it's going to be 9 times 4 to the n minus 1. It gives the 5th term of the sequence. It's going to be... So that's what I'm going with for now. But we have time to review, so I'll review after. The minimum value of x is 12 less than 6 times of another number n. So it's minus 12, 6n. So 6n minus 12. And x is more than or equal to that. So b. So tan of w so SOHCAHTOA tells us that tan is opposite over hypotenuse. So it can help us if we draw this out here. So tan w. So let's just draw this out, I guess. That's what we're gonna do. So what we have here are 2 triangles. We have triangle RST, and we have triangle UVW. And so the tan of W, these are not drawn to scale. It's going to be, let's see, TR is the hypotenuse. So if TR is the hypotenuse, that means that these two are similar, or like the angles are similar. I'm using some improper notation here, but we're considering UV and WV, which are correspondent to RS and TS. So since so it's opposite over adjacent, that tells us that opposite of this is RS 20 over adjacent of this, which is TS 48. Then 20 over 48 which is 5 over 12, because if we divide both sides by 4, divide this by 4, divide this by 4, then we'll get 5 over 12. So therefore, our answer is 5 over 12 right here. So let's go on here. 9x minus 10y is equal to 19. So what is the x-coordinate of the x-intercept? So it's translated down 4 units. Is that moving it at all? Let me see here. No, it's moving in left and right. Is that gonna move it up and down? No, that's also left and right. Okay. So I guess we just have to isolate this here. So that's 19 plus 10y. Get rid of that. Now if we try this. Nope. Still moving left and right. So let's put on this side here. Here we go. Now it's moving up and down. So if we translate it down 4 units, wait, did that do anything? So if that's 0, then we're at 2.1. If we're at 4, or we're at 2, then we're at 2.555556. So just go like that. So 2.555. But let's see what they want from us here. They need three digits, either truncated or rounded, or at least 3 digits. Oh wait, no, they need 4 significant figures. So it should be an acceptable way to answer. Let's go back here. So first term is 9. Every next one is 4 times the preceding one. So it starts on the first term. So that means the second term would be 9 times 4. The third term would be 9. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's right. I think that's correct. I'll mark that. Now we got 6 minutes to spare. Usually you go back and review more questions, but I'm gonna resume this after ending the stream because I gotta go, but I'll be back to finish this hopefully today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one pretty soon. Thanks for watching.